I don't care about what I'm doing. I care about what they're doing.
どこ見てんだよ。どこ見てんだ。
Hello and welcome, my name is Clown, and today's game that I'm going to speak on is Sword of Succubus. Now, Sword of Succubus is best reminds me of like a classic Zelda game, and considering the fact that one of like the main items that you collect is triangles that form another triangle, I would, I would say it's probably inspired by it, maybe a little bit inspired by it. However, that's neither here nor there, because we're gonna go somewhere else and talk about this game. So honestly, this game is actually it's a very compact game, but it is definitely, well, it's packed. It has a lot of shit in there for how small it is. Because when you start the game, right after you finish, I'm not gonna say you, forget. If I'm playing a game and you're not supposed to be a stand-in for the main character, and there is a main character, in this case you have your succubus. It's a little weird to say you, especially because the succubus is a woman, so, it's a little weird to say, you got fucked by the hero, and after receiving his blade, you receive his other blade. So, yeah, after, fucking the hero, she picks up his blade, because apparently he just fucking dropped this holy sword, so you're like, alright. Or she's like, alright. Taking this shit, and that's literally how the adventure starts. And as soon as you leave, as I was saying before, I'm continuing on from before I went on this, you can actually see the entire map on the bottom. It's like a little grid of squares, and that's basically all of it. So, because the game can be completed super quickly, actually, because essentially what happens is once you leave the house, or when she leaves the house, she goes to the closest village. The succubus goes to the village, and then that's where she set off on her adventure, which is just complete 3 trials and then defeat the overlord. And it really doesn't take that long, especially if you just want to immediately go to the dungeons. However, I feel like the main strength of this game lies in going back and exploring and essentially using all the tools that you've collected. Because at the beginning of the game, you start off with a sword, a charm spell, and armor. And actually, pretty cool about these things, the sword is just a sword, so we can ignore that one. But the armor, in case if you couldn't tell, on the right side of the screen, I may or may not have blocked it out. However, you can actually see the succubus, and she has her armor on. However, if the armor breaks, she will no longer have her armor out, and she just appears tits out and everything, which is kind of cool. And the little animations can actually play on there. One of the animations that you can get is one where if she doesn't have her armor on and you get hit by, or she gets hit by certain humanoid enemies, they will actually play an animation for, she's been caught. And if you use a charm spell, it will play a separate animation for she's charmed an enemy. And I think there's 2 for each, I'm not sure, but it is pretty cool. And eventually there are actually reasons to use the charm spell, other than it's like a one-hit kill on any enemy that it can be used on. But pretty awesome. You got some pretty good integration of the lewdness here, and that doesn't fucking end, because this game is just littered with that stuff, right? And that's why I think the exploration is even more integral to it, because obviously going through the main quest, you will encounter a lot of animations and CGs, all of them lewd, obviously, because you always have to go somewhere. I feel like she will always have to get fucked or have to give up some titty milk, because apparently everyone just wants succubus milk in the game, and there's a lot of people who will ask for succubus milk, either just straight up drinking it, milking it, or putting it in a chalice. And it's kind of funny, actually. I thought it was pretty funny after a while. It just got funnier as it went along. However, you will end up missing a lot of the CGs, because a lot of the stuff that you get through exploration is usually upgrade equipment, and upgrading for some reason always involves some amount of lewdness for some reason, such as increasing the mana. Involves giving an old man aphrodisiac and letting him go at it, and then certain health upgrades do require you to get freaky with some ladies. And it's really cool how, it's all really well meshed together. It's not like I guess there's nothing wrong with finishing a level and then immediately getting some kind of, lewd scene as a reward. But it's also really nice when you're just, you're rewarded with exploration with tangible gameplay benefits as well as some lewd shit. And that's really awesome. I really like that. And also along your adventure, you will actually unlock more tools, because like I said, you start off with only a sword, armor, and the charm spell, and you end up getting a staff that can shoot fire, a hook that can be used to get to, you know, you can use it on poles to get through spaces that don't have any land to walk on, and the pickaxe, which you can buy to break rocks. And all that stuff plays into basically the whole exploration, unlocking new areas, and just generally having a jolly old time, right? Though I will say that after some time, it does eventually start getting a little bit stagnant. Like I don't know if I've said this already, but I played this game for like 2 hours, right? And that's basically the amount of time it took me to get from starting the game, completing the first dungeon, and then completing the second dungeon. And then after I completed the second dungeon, I decided I'm gonna go and explore. And while there were some highlights to it, like exploring the ghost mansion, which led me to getting the hook, which, to be fair, you had to get the hook, but I didn't know it at the time, so it felt really cool. I was like, oh shit, I think I just explored something I didn't even have to do. And it's also a lot more cool because other characters are speaking about it, and, you know, they mention it, and if you decide to take their word for it, you can go and look for the mansion and be like, oh shit, look, there it is. And there's other stuff. Even within the mansion, there's like some talk about a ghost whore there called Anna, who had a boyfriend called Fred, but Fred died. And then you can eventually actually find Fred dead and take his diary and then give it to Anna, and then she teaches you how to whore around. Instead of charging you 900 for it, she gives it to you for free. It's awesome. It's some peak reward for exploration. However, I think there's also a chance that is just kind of like the baked in design of these types of games, because they are inherently really basic. So, you know, adding a bunch of little knickknacks and shit that you can collect so that you can then give it to someone else, so you can give them something else. Jesus Christ, word vomit. Essentially getting all these knickknacks that you can give to someone else so that they can give you something else to give to someone else and then receive a reward. And maybe that's just the baked in design of these games. But it was overall, honestly, a agreeable experience, and the loot shit was great, which is actually just gonna touch on that a little bit because that is the main name of the channel. Yeah, loot shit was good. Honestly, there is a ton of animations, a ton of just CGs, and those are really good. They're all well done. You know, it's all pixel art. However, it's pretty high as far as pixel art goes, it's very high density pixel art. Like, you can still see the individual blocks, squares, pixels. Obviously pixels, I'm quoting it, but they're you know, they're super fluid. The animations they're really fluid, and they're very varied, actually. Surprisingly, there's a large variety of stuff that happens and shit that you will do, and it's really cool, and I really liked it. Sadly, there's no voice acting. There is you know, moans that can be heard. However, other than that, it's just a little bit of Foley there, but nothing else. So really good, actually. Honestly, a very solid product overall. And this thing actually came bundled in with 2 other games. I may or may not play them because I know Tower of Succubus is probably the same shit. Succubus Hunter is a Metroidvania. However, I specifically bought another game in the Succubus whatever the fuck series that is a Metroidvania, and I'll probably play that instead. So yeah, pretty good game, honestly. I forgot to say, you can't full screen this bitch, which is really annoying, but would maybe probably recommend. It might not be everyone's cup of tea in terms of gameplay. However, in terms of lewdness, I think everyone can get down with that. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.